if you are ready to get your edge back, you can set yourself a 12-week goal, 3-month goal, somewhere in that region. Really gives you a good amount of time to do some work and see some results. Anything shorter than that, you don't necessarily see the results you want to see. It's just not quite enough time. But if you can set yourself on about a 12-week mark, that really sets yourself up for a good amount of time to be able to see some incredible results at the end of it. And those results, they could be seen from a physical point of view, as in you might notice some large changes within your, sorry, I'm just walking through some very, very wet grassed area, and it's soaked all the way through my shoes. 12 weeks, you're going to be able to see some impressive physical changes in that time. So you can see those changes on a fitness level, you can see those changes on a strength level, you can see them on a could be a size level in terms of fat loss, muscle gain. Both of those things, you can see a decent amount of change within that time. If it is from a mental health perspective, you can see a lot of change going on through there. You will feel like a different person. One of the things that I do is I keep a diary where I'm noting the different changes that I'm making so that I can see that over time. Oh yeah, I've improved in that area. That's gotten better. That's gotten, maybe hasn't changed too much. And then that thing, oh yeah, absolutely better in that one. It's black and white. So knowing that you've got a good amount of time to be able to make a decent change is very helpful. So if you're going to do this, and this really outlines how I run my 12-week program, is we start with our foundation. And the initial foundation is the physical side of things. Bringing up your energy, dropping down your stress, getting you exercising on a regular basis, getting you out in some sunshine, out in nature, things that'll ground you and bring back your energy, your life force, things that are going to be able to lift you up. Because if you have more energy, everything gets better. If you have more energy, you think more clearly, you make better decisions. If you have more energy, you can do more, you can produce at a higher rate, and the quality is going to be far, far better than if you were to be at a very low energy. So that physical foundation also requires you to sort your food out. It's really easy to get stuck in the trap of just eating when you can, whatever you can, because you're busy. But what you really need to do is to set up some sort of a discipline, some sort of a way that you can get done what you need to get done, that looks after your health, looks after your energy, looks after your physicality, so helps to either build muscle or burn body fat, preferably both. And you can do that by changing your diet, but you just need the discipline to be able to stick to it. No, this doesn't mean you have to be cooking all the time. It doesn't mean you have to be preparing food all the time. You can get your food delivered. You could have frozen meals in the freezer ready to go that somebody else has already prepped. In fact, you can get that for pretty much any kind of health need that you want. You can get that for specific macronutrient levels. So if you wanted to have higher protein, you want to have higher fat, you want to have higher carbohydrates, you want to specify all the different macronutrients that you want in the quantities that you want, you can do that too. Doesn't take a lot of work. You just really need to set it up the first time, press go and have your food delivered on a regular basis, and you don't have to think about it anymore. So you get that physicality sorted out. Then we work on your mental health, getting you clear and confident. And I've also included in there your financial health. Now you may be doing well financially, and that's great, but you want to know with certainty where you're at, where your money is, what it's doing, what your net worth is. You want to be able to know what it's going to cost to be able to retire, how much more work you need to do, how hard you need to work right now, because you might already be at the point where you've hit your retirement goals and you haven't realized, and you're still just busting your ass and burning yourself out for nothing. So it is important to know the goalposts so that once you cross that finish line, you actually can stop, or at least slow down and stop pushing yourself so hard. Now, that's your foundation. But you've got to understand that there's a synergistic effect between all of these things. Every one of these components relates back to the other component. Every one of these components influences the other components, whether you like it or not. You might go, oh yeah, whatever, my spiritual health is not even important. I don't even think about that. It's not going to affect me in my regular life. But it will. You may not think your finances will, but it will. What about your social health? You would be surprised at how socially isolated most people are these days, and the detrimental effects that it's having on people. We used to live in community. Now, so many people are living by themselves, and it might be you and a dog in a very large house, and that's not a normal thing. That's not how humans have grown up and developed over the generations. This segregation takes away from your ability to have conversations, counseling, physical touch, comfort in the form of company, even if it's just people being around, knowing that there's people there for you to be able to support you if you need it. Even if you don't need it right now, just knowing that people there makes a huge difference to your everyday life, your ability to be able to produce, your ability to keep up. Remember, overwhelm is a massive issue these days because we have so many different things to do, so many responsibilities, and we find it really hard to be able to keep up with them all the time. And it's understandable too. It's hard enough keeping up with just the passwords that you need for the different apps or programs or emails or whatever. So having this systemic effect, or the synergistic effect, where everything relates to everything else, everything helps everything else, it sounds like it's going to make life a lot more difficult, but at the end of the day it does make life easier. It just means you have to pay attention to everything. You don't have to pay attention to everything all the time, and generally you have to just get things set up in the initial stages and know where you're at so that you have full confidence in that. I've already mentioned that 12-week time frame is a really good time frame for noticing physical difference, noticing mental differences, but it's also very good for looking at biological markers. So let's say you've changed your exercise, you've changed your diet, you've changed your mindset. All of those things are going to have effects on your biology. So if your doctor asked you to do some blood tests, generally he's going to ask you to come back, or she's going to ask you to come back 3 months and get them rechecked. That's your sweet spot for noticing a good amount of change during that time. So I also find that 12-week mark is kind of big but not too big. So it's like taking on a big project, but you know that it's only 3 months away. The finish line is not that far away. It's not like you have to commit to it for a whole year. You know that you can do it. It's going to be hard, but you can definitely do it. And I think that being able to do things in that sort of a time frame is very good on a discipline level too. You are now able to set yourself something to work hard at. And if you did that for 3 months, you may well be doing something else for another 3 months, not long afterwards. Setting yourself challenges like this is invaluable because you can make very large changes in a short space of time if you're willing to put your mind to it and work hard at it. So when it comes to working on these things, especially when you look at exercise, you can look at it like, all right, well, I've got to go work out. I've got to go push hard. I've got to go and bust my ass doing this thing. And that may be so, but what if you just thought about it in terms of executing the plan? You're just doing the work. You are just following a recipe of how to get best results. If you can get best results by just sticking to the plan, then it's kind of easy, right? You just have to keep showing up. Most people are not willing to show up every day, but if you can prove it to just show up, that's all you got to do. You don't have to be working at 100% every workout. You do not have to be getting every single thing right on whatever test or scorecard or whatever. You don't have to get your habits that you're working on right every single day. You just have to get them most of the time. You just have to be consistent. If you can be consistent, you're going to see the results. So I would always focus on consistency over perfectionism. Perfectionism is a trap, and it's really easy to go, all right, well, I want to go to the gym today, but I'm not going to have enough time. I can't get my full hour or hour and a half workout in, so I'm not going to bother. Now that is the wrong attitude completely, because if you've got 5 or 10 minutes, you can get some decent work done, and it may not be at the same output, but it is still enough to be able to keep things at a maintenance level. It is enough to be able to stimulate growth. It's something different, so your body then has to try and figure out how to react, respond, recover. You're still going to get some sort of growth. You're also building the discipline as a, all right, well, I can't get it 100%, but I'm still going to do something, so I haven't missed a workout, I haven't missed an activity, I haven't missed a day, I've just done less. Doing less is not a bad thing. Doing less allows you to be able to recover, but it also allows you to be creative in what you do, because if you can't do it the exact normal way that you would, and you would generally skip it, you don't learn anything. But if you get creative with it, you might find something that actually helps make your life easier over everything. You might try something and go, oh wow, okay, that worked really, really well for me. I had no idea it was going to be that good. That's information that you would not have got if you didn't spend that 5 or 10 minutes doing whatever that thing is. So don't just go, all right, well, I'm working out today. I've got to do it perfectly. Go and execute the plan. Even if the plan isn't perfect, it really doesn't matter. Finally, if you have a tribe of people who are going to be able to keep you accountable to this, to be able to keep you on track, to be able to answer any questions when you get stuck, you move forward faster. And that's what it's all about. It's really easy to hit this paralysis by analysis phase where it's like, I don't understand, therefore I'm not going to try. I'm not sure, so I don't want to do it because I might mess something up. We've got a community of people inside our school group. You have a question, you post a question, I will answer it, or one of the other guys will answer it. Someone will get back to you, maybe many people will get back to you, and then you'll have multiple perspectives on how to do that thing, how to be able to maybe do it different or do it better, to be able to fit it in, to be able to get this thing done, but to be able to get you to think differently about a particular situation. Sometimes it is, you have a question and you get stuck. I've had this plenty of times when I've worked on different programs and I haven't known what to do, and then I kind of freeze up. Now that doesn't happen anymore because I learned to just trust the process, follow my instincts, work through it that way. But now we've got this group in real time. You get a question, you ask a question, someone will give you an answer, and all of a sudden you can get on with whatever that next thing is. You're able to move on faster. You might have a different perspective that someone comes up with, and that allows you to be able to go, oh, I never thought about that. That's going to work even better. Great, bang, straight into it. And now you might have been able to increase your energy. You might have a different solution from a social level or a relationship level. You may have something that is different from a business or a finance level. You've just got answers, and you've got options for answers. So you check with the community, you get the answers, you move on, you move forward faster. And I'm a big fan of being able to move forward faster. I like to be able to get success as quick as possible so I can move on to the next thing, but also just to get things done, feel that sense of accomplishment with it. So if you are ready to make a big change, 12 weeks and you can get this done, you can absolutely end up with a completely different life. A total overhaul, a reset of where you are to where you want to be. The whole idea of this 12-week program that I run is to be able to design, build it, and live your ideal lifestyle. So, as I said, we work on a foundation of physical health, and we build everything up from there. Within the program, we have multiple questions, surveys, things to be able to get you to pull the information, to pull the answers out of you, so you are clear on who you are, what you stand for, and what you want. That allows you to know exactly where you're going next and what you're going to do, and that gets you to where you want to get to faster. It's really hard to hit the bullseye if you don't know where the target is. So we spend a lot of time just making sure you are clear, because once you are clear, it gets easy. It's really easy to be able to formulate a solid plan. So if that's something you need, you can check that out within the school community, or you can DM me and I'll answer any questions you have. But for now, set yourself a target of what you want to do and just start thinking about how you're going to make that work. If you don't have all the answers, there's plenty of free information inside the school community that you can dig into and start setting yourself up for there, building up that confidence, that energy, that strength, and that discipline. Talk again soon.